Hey, once again, back with you again at Fourth Edition Games, James and Caitlin. We're going to talk to you about something we've been playing a lot of over the last few days, actually. I think we played 4 games to total out 6 games, so 4 in the last 2 days, and 6 overall. So we're halfway through a legacy game that you might have heard of called Clank Legacy. We're playing with 4 people, so we're maxing it out, which I think is a good way to try out any legacy game. Then we usually try to do 2-player as well because we're a couple. But I feel like it's a different experience with 4 people than it is 2. And out of the first 6 games, what do you think, Caitlin?
I think it's like Clank. So if you really like Clank and you like the mechanics of Clank, which is deck building, plus you have a board to move around that will trigger things in your deck that you've put in. I think it's good. If you really like Clank, it's the game for you. But it is Clank over and over and over again. The other 2 people we play with in our play group, they absolutely love Clank. They play it multiple times a week. We do not. I do like Clank, but it is not something that I just pull out and play. It's not my go-to game. So playing it 4 times in the last 2 days, I might be over it. I need a break.
Personally, I've enjoyed it the last 2 days, so we call him Jacob. I've had a great time. But yes, I do like varying my games. I usually don't play back-to-back games of the same game. We did play a couple other smalls in between this to try to break it up. So, we did play Point Salad, which is a great in-between game that we'll talk about at another time. But like you said, I mean, it is like Clank. So very easily here, we have, I think this is one of our first couple games we ever purchased. And Clank, right? There's so many different Clanks everybody knows of. The original with the above and below ground. This is the Outer Space Edition, which is probably our favorite. I think we've played it so many times with so many different people because it's an easy game to teach, which is the point that I'm trying to get to here. Is that if you want to play a game, but you don't want to kill yourself learning it, or you don't want to kill yourself reteaching it every time you want to play, Clank Legacy is a great way to do it. And if you want to get in on the hype of legacy games, personally, I think this is a great way to start. And I don't think you can really go wrong with it. I think the prices are already dropping. Do you remember what we picked this up for?
We paid $100 for it.
We paid $100? Mm-hmm. Oof, what are they going for right now, though?
Well, I just found a couple on Walmart going around $89, and then on Miniature Market, it's $75 right now.
Okay. I know here that it says 13 and up. Yeah, you could probably get away with 13 and up, I think. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it's basically just Clank. If you've never played it, go out and buy a used Clank for $30.
The game plays in 10 rounds. Each round is a full-length game of Clank. 2 hours for each round. So if you want to try to play back-to-back, you're looking at 4 to 5 hours.
Sure.
Sitting, playing Clank. So it is.
Did you just say 4 to 5 hours?
If you play 2 back-to-back.
Oh, back-to-back, yes. So it's about 2 hours. It says it's 90 minutes to 120 to play.
Which is an hour and a half to 2 hours.
That's a little shy. Every time we've played, I've timed it out using an app that we keep track of our games on, and it's been over 2 hours. We've never played under 2 hours.
Setup does take quite a bit of effort and time, too.
True.
So that's why it's better to play 2 games back-to-back, that way you don't have to set up and tear down multiple times.
Okay.
So, it's like 15 minutes.
So
Probably.
let's talk about some of the things you really didn't like in the components. So personally, I didn't like the manual for this, right? Not that it was a bad manual and it didn't tell you what to do, just the quality of a manual.
No, it's the secret book that tells you all your scenarios and what you're going to do and what you're playing with that round. Mm-hmm. Ours, we play 6 games and it is fallen apart. It is just pages dangling together by little strings. I don't think we've been rough on it. We just open and close it multiple times during the game and it's just falling apart. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that is what I'm talking about. And I think the other negative is inside the directions, there's been a lot of confusion and a lot of talk on, BGG, We've seen some people commenting on this, and we did some digging and found some answers for ourselves and for you. Basically, the small secrets don't go on the board during the game.
Regular Clank.
Right. Like the regular Clank game, you place them on the board in 2 stacks, right? 1 and 2. And then when you pass over them, you take one off and you leave the other unless you go back or somebody else goes over it. Well, in this one, you don't actually place them on the board. So it's an infinite amount of small secrets that can go on each spot, but they stay inside the bag off the table.
Bank. It's a bank.
A bank, right? But really it's a bag, but yes, it's a bank. A bank full of them. And basically you can get as many as you want by going back and forth over them until they run out. But in game 1, in the directions, it does not tell you to ever place them out, right? So this is the confusion that people have been running
It just
into.
says put them in a bank. And then later on in the rules, a couple pages in a tiny little section about minor secrets, it says when you go over a minor secret space, you can get one from the bank. That's not in regular Clank. That's not how you do it. So it's just easy to miss.
Yeah.
And for the first couple games, we missed that. So we weren't putting any secrets out because it said not to put them out. But then we couldn't figure out how to get them. So it did take a couple.
Yeah. Well, I think a little bit of that confusion is the large secrets are going to be on the board during this entire game, but the small secrets are not. I'm not sure what the point is in doing this, besides the fact that it saves a few minutes in the setup. But if you're not paying attention, you might walk over one of these spaces on the board, especially if 1 a.m, which is some of the times that we've played, and you might miss taking your secret because your character's on top of it, or you're just already planning on your next move. When those chips were on there, like they are with the large secrets, you can't miss them, right? Because there's something in your way. You actually have to pick it up and move it out of the way. So that's something that I think they kind of missed the mark on. But besides that, I've had a great time. I think the miniatures in this game are awesome. I do enjoy the miniatures. There's 4 of them. Really no complaints between, what is it, a dwarf, an elf warrior, a human warrior, and a rogue?
Yeah.
Really? That's what I would say, a small rogue. I'm not going to get into the definitions of what they probably say they are, but that's what I see them as. I like the color schemes. They give you small circles that go on the bottom of those gray pieces, so you don't feel like they're all just gray. So you can actually find
which one's yours easy.
Yeah, easy enough. So that does kind of personalize it. You do get to personalize some of your own cards if you're familiar with this game. There's, scrambles? Oh wait, is that in this game?
It's different, but
Different.
you have your standard deck just like a regular game of Clank, and then there are cards that you get to write on and change and personalize.
And if you've never played a Legacy game, the idea of a Legacy game is the game is forever changing and you only get to play it once. This one is 2-sided, so there's 2 boards. You do rip up cards, you do write on the board, you do throw away pieces, you put stickers down. You can die during the game and be behind the other players, but the catch-up mechanics I think are pretty good. They don't seem to be overwhelming sometimes.
You can not just get good card pools, just like in Clank, and then other people are getting all these triggers and you're sitting there with nothing, but
You sound sour.
No.
No?
It didn't happen to me. Never.
Well, anyways, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think of the game?
I like Clank. I don't like playing Clank till 2 o'clock in the morning and then playing it again the next morning. But I will give this an 8 because I do like it. It's just it's long.
Okay. I'm going to go 8.5 on you. Just one up because I actually really do enjoy the game. I do enjoy Clank. I think this is much better than regular Clank, which I do enjoy. And by that, I do mean I enjoy the contracts. I think fulfilling the contracts makes it a lot better. It keeps people from trying to run in and run back out of the game and trigger what basically is the dragon, which is going to start, killing off people, all just faster, basically. But I feel like those contracts kind of keep people in the game a little longer, make it more intriguing.
To work toward.
Right, and the story is interesting so far. I actually think the story is really interesting. I don't want to spoil it, but there's a good storyline between 2 brothers going on, and two different races at the same time. So there's a lot going on to keep track of. So you want to read that story and actually pay attention to it. You'll enjoy the game a little bit more. I'm more of a into the lore kind of person. I like to read the cards. We've seen some Harry Potter stuff so far, which I thought was pretty cool.
Well, we themed ours Harry Potter, so I think just you think some cards.
Well, there
go into our
literally is a
theme,
broomstick that you can fly on that gives you movement. So I'm just saying there's a little bit of Harry Potter underlining theme in here. You guys back me up on that in the comment section, please. But let us know what you think. We're 6 in. We're going to do another review at the end of the game. So 6 more games. Hopefully we'll have it done in another 2 weeks.
Hopefully not.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what I can make happen. So we got a lot of the games we want to play. I know we're going to put out a tapestry review, bag review. We're still working on Maracaba, which we played a couple times. We want to get a couple more plays in before we do a full review and full how to play. So, if there's any questions or anything you guys want to talk about? Oh, yeah, we should do difficulty, which to me it ain't difficult at all, but go ahead.
Well, on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd say it's more than something I'd want to teach my parents, but not too difficult just to teach someone who's never played it's a deck building game, so if you're familiar with that, then I wouldn't say it's difficult. But right. If you have never played a deck building game, then there definitely is a curve, so you know what cards you want to pick and what cards you don't want to pick. So I say like a 5.5 out of 10.
Difficulty? I would say it's a 4, just because I consider Dominion to be a little bit more difficult. With all the expansions in Dominion. You throw in one of those other expansions, it gets really confusing. You don't know what's going on. You have to relearn the cards and read them every time. I feel like this, the text is easy to read. The pictures tell you what's going on. The icons are very big. I feel like it's a little easier. I see you rethinking that. Yeah, I'm with you. No. And, Marvel Legendary is great. I think that's probably a little harder than this as well.
I think you're just thinking that because we played this over and over again. You know what the cards say without even looking at them. But if you didn't know what they were or what they did, it would be a little more difficult than that.
Either way, you say 5, I say 4. It's not difficult either way. Obviously, you can go down to your local store and buy it. You're probably going to pay a little bit more. Help out your local store. You can always play Clank. All right. Any of the other regular ones pretty much give you the feel of how the game goes. It's going to be a lot cheaper. You can probably go to any regular store. They probably have a box sitting on the shelf open. You can probably try, which is going to be exactly the same as this, except for it doesn't have the storyline. It doesn't have the dual-sided boards.
Different components.
Different components. Yeah.
Right. Basically the same.
Yeah. Basically the same movements over and over and over again. So, if you like Clank, pick it up, have a good time, enjoy it. Out of Legacy games that we've played, where's it at on your Legacy game list? Right,
I haven't played that many Legacies. Charterstone, Pandemic.
Right.
Clank.
Out of those 3.
Out of those 3,
what's your favorite?
This is my favorite.
This is your favorite?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
No, it's okay to say it. I thought you didn't enjoy Clank.
I do, it's just...
But now it's your favorite.
We've played a lot of Clank lately. I do like Pandemic too. I don't know.
Okay, well...
I like them all.
I think I like Pandemic a little slightly more, just because it's so much more difficult, right? I feel like you could be a pro player and still get your butt kicked in Pandemic. Yeah. In Clank, I feel like you're just having a good time with your friends. I don't feel like the game's out to kill you constantly, right?
Yeah, no.
You can kind of make each other mad by killing each other. That's fun. Who cares?
The Pandemic is truly hard.
Yeah, and Charterstone is easier than this, in my opinion. But
Charterstone doesn't have as great of a story.
Not as good of a story. I agree. And yeah, here you go. So definitely think Clank is up there in the Legacy games. So pick it up, play it. I definitely would. Overall, we're giving it an 8 out of 10, and then somewhere around a 4 to 5 on difficulty. So enjoyment is an 8 to 5. So once more, Clank Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated. Great game. Pick it up, play it. Runs about $80, and hopefully they come out with a restock pack or recharge pack, so we can play it again and not have to buy the whole game all over again. Because once more, it's only 10 games and it's done, right? So remember that when you're buying this. If you want something you can play 1,000 times over and over, buy Clank. My opinion is the Outer Space Edition is the best one. So it's Clank in space. I think it's the best one. There's an underwater one, there's a desert one, there's an Egyptian one, there's a regular one. I don't know. There's probably a mud monster one, for God's sakes. But I don't know why I'm getting up. If you guys enjoyed the video, links below, Fourth Edition Games, and ring the bell, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.